What is going on, my YouTube family? It is your boy Zary, and we're here to talk a little Raid Shadow Legends. And we just had a 2x Void opening, and I shot a video on Sunday. I had 6 Void shards, and for some reason it just came out all grainy. I have no idea why. Really upset me because I had some luck, and I'm gonna show you the grainy video just so you can see them, even though it's pretty poor quality. And then we'll go in and talk a little bit about it. This is my first account I ever had on Raid Shadow Legends. I had no idea what I was doing. I tried to jump in. I have a couple legendaries. First legendary I ever pulled on this account was Yannica, which before they reworked her, so it was absolutely terrible. I have Seal of the Drakes. I have Torvid, War Mother. I have Balaris Rannis and Wormland Frost King. Those are the legendaries I have on this account. And, we can do a roster review, and I'll go over this account a little bit in a different video. But I had 6 voids, and I was really, really excited to do this video, and I tried running it on BlueStacks, and I think that might have been the problem, because J-Gigs was saying the same thing. His audio messes up with BlueStacks, so now I'm just running it through the Plarium Plate actual app, and it seems to be working fine. So we're going to talk about 10 Void characters I was hoping to get, why I wanted them, then I'll kind of show you the video of me pulling the shard. Even though it's grainy, I apologize, and then we'll talk about the characters I got. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Alright, so the 10 voids I was looking for are really in no particular order at all, okay? These are the 10 characters I most wanted. And the first one here is 2Hack the Warlord. He just brings a lot to the game that I am missing. He's great for Spider, great for Fire Knight. He attacks one enemy 2 times on a basic, increasing the cooldown of a target skill. Okay. Attacks all enemies, 75% chance of AoE decreased speed, so that would definitely help out in Spider. Attacks one enemy, steals 50% of the turn meter. So, pretty big. And then his passive decreases damage taken by this champion by 20% when he gets low on health. So he can kind of be the tank for spiders. And he would really benefit me because one place this account I'm struggling in progression-wise is Spider and Fire Knight. And there's a lot of where the good gear comes from. So that is 2Hawk, and I would love them. The next one is obviously Raglan. She is an arena champion. And 3v3, I need to fill out some more teams, and she would be great for that. She has attacks one enemy 3 times, fills the turn meter of 3 random allies by 15%. Allies can only have their turn meter filled once per turn by this skill. Even for Fire Knight, that would be big for me in that progression. Removes all debuffs from all allies and then heals them. Heal is an amount based on the champion's attack. Receives an ally with 75, or revives an ally with 75% HP and full turn meter. So she would just be awesome. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that want Raglan, but she's definitely on my list. For the next one, we go over to the High Elves in Reliquary Tender. And I would love her as a support champion. I have Apothecary on this account, and that's really about it as far as like healers besides like Mother Superior. And she attacks one enemy. She has a decreased attack debuff on her basic. Removes all debuffs from all allies and places a 15% continuous heal debuff. You can get that down to a 3-turn cooldown. And then revives an ally with 30% of HP and fills their turn meter by 30%. So where this would really benefit me is that remove all debuffs in Dragon's Lair. And man, for a rare, I got a good shot. I would love her. Knight Revenanthajiman. Who wouldn't want Hajiman? Just an arena beast. Absolutely amazing. He attacks an enemy 2 times at random. Each hit has a 35% 30% chance of placing the 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Places a 50% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns. Also has a 50% chance of placing the block cooldown skills for 2 turns. And then his passive, if multiple Hegimons are in a battle, the Hegimon with the highest speed will move first, followed by the next highest, and so on. So, you know, increases crit rate in all battles. Who wouldn't want a Hegimon, right? Enough said about him, just an arena beast. Next up is Warlord. From Orcs, Warlord is just a really, really cool character. His kit attacks one enemy, has a 25% chance of increasing the duration of all buffs on the target by 1 turn. Crazy. And when that's booked, it can get up to a 40% chance. Places a block debuffs on all allies for 1 turn, then places a shield buff on all allies equal to 30% of this champ's max HP, and then heals all allies. And then attacks all enemies, has a 70% chance to put each target's skills on cooldown, has a 30% chance to fully deplete the target's turn meter. I mean, you talk about Spider, he could fill in for Clan Boss. I mean, he could do some things on my account, and he is just cool as hell looking, and I would love a Warlord. Over the Undead, obviously Sifi, she's Void, still amazing after her little mini nerf there. Attacks an enemy, 80% chance of placing the sleep debuff. If the target's turn is equal to or above 50%, this debuff cannot be resisted. Heals all allies by 5% of their max HP if the target's turn meter is below 50% on a basic. Places block debuffs for 2 turns, then fills in the turn meter of all allies by 10% and places a 60% increased defense buff and a 30% increased speed buff for all allies for 2 turns. Revives a single ally with 55% HP and full turn meter. Places a 50% increase attack buff and a 30% increase crit rate buff. And then her passive heals all allies by 10% of their HP at the start of the turn. Has a 40% chance of removing freeze and fear debuffs from each ally. Removes all debuffs from Rotos. So, yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want a Sifi, right? Obviously, Madame Cirrus, I've already gone over her kit in previous videos. But, yeah, Madame Cirrus, she just helped me out in Arena. She's just a beast of a character. Love the way she looks with, like, the Wicked Witch look. Madame Cirrus. Yeah. Sir Nick. He is my favorite looking character in this game. Big fan of Christmas. I just love the way he looks. His sword is awesome. He's got, like, the deer antlers. He's an Arena specialist, I know. But, man, I just want this character for the collection. And he would be awesome to pull. Kris. Who wouldn't want a Kris again? This guy just does everything in the game extremely well. Attacks all enemies, has a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Attacks all enemies, placing 50% ally protection buff on all allies. Places 2 15% continuous heal debuffs on this champion for 1 turn, increasing the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. Places a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn, places a 60% increased debuff on him for 2 turns, and then places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. And then his passive, at the start of each round, places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns, equal to 50% of this champion's max HP. Has a 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased debuff and a 50% chance of and a 50% decrease attack debuff on the attacker for 1 turn, 1 hit. Just, he's so good. And, yeah. Would love to have a Kris. And then, Dark Elves, a Cold Heart. I would just love to get a Cold Heart for this game. I mean, Spider, Dragon, what I'm looking for. Flurry of Arrows, attacks 4 times at random. I mean, Fire Knight, ugh. Art of Pain, attacks all enemies, 50% decrease accuracy debuff, places a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns under a heal reduction debuff. But the Heartseeker ability decreases the target's turn meter by 100%, has 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit. Damage increases according to the enemy's HP, so this can just crit for ungodly amounts, as I'm sure a lot of you know. But I would love a Cold Heart. See what I mean? This is my screen, and I don't know what happened. but we had 6 void shards, and I'll kind of walk you through what happened so you can kind of see it. The first one here, I pulled a Reliquary Tender, so I was really excited for that. Super, super cool. Really pumped to get her. The next one was my 2-hack, whatever you want to say it. Really excited to pull this champion. We'll go over all their move kits after this, so you don't have to watch this greeny screen. Interceptor. Go over her. Next one up is a Harrier. Next one up here that we're going to pull is a Steadfast Marshal. So I'm down to 1 shard. And then this happened. Oh my goodness. Void Legendary. Baron. So, you know, I got a Void Legendary. I can't complain about that. I got Baron, who I had to look up, who is largely sought after to probably be the worst Legendary of the Voids. But it's a Void Legendary. So, Baron is a Banner Lord. And his A1 ability attacks one enemy, will attack all remaining enemies with surplus damage. If he kills the target, has a 10% chance to unlock a secret skill. Sky Piercer for 1 turn. Attacks one enemy, places a 60% decrease defense debuff for 2 turns. This debuff is guaranteed. Has a 20% chance of unlocking a secret skill, Sky Piercer. Attacks one enemy on his A3. Damage increases according to the number of buffs on this champion. Places a 40% or has a 40% chance to unlock that Sky Piercer move. And attacks all enemies, deals pure damage, will ignore shield and block damage debuffs. But he's based on attack. And from what I've been reading and looking up on him, he's very, very hard to keep alive. You know, he does have ally attack in all battles by 33% as well. So, bummed. I was hoping to see like a Kris walkout or a Sir Nick, Sifi, you know, somebody like that. But I got a Void Legendary, so it's another one for the account. Can definitely help me out probably in faction wars and things like that. You know, when I look at his reviews, I know the reviews are subject. But faction wars, he was a 4.5, so yeah, we're going to give it a shot. And I'm sure he can help me out somewhere. So, can't complain there. You know, and we did get 2-hack, so I'm pretty excited about that. That is going to greatly help out my Spider and Fire Knight team. So really looking forward to that. Get him geared up. I can start showcasing some of these people for people who might have pulled them. So that'll be pretty neat. You know, Reliquary Tender, we've already talked about her. But again, really excited to get her up and running. And I've been kind of leveling them with this new Thanksgiving tournament that's out, or event. So just been taking my time trying to get them up there. So that is a plus for me with Reliquary Tender. Now, Interceptor pretty much is just going to be 3-star food for me at this point. Attacks one enemy. 25% chance of placing a 15% decreased speed debuff. Attacks one enemy, has a 45% chance of placing a sleep debuff for 1 turn. Places 15% weaken debuff for 2 turns if she doesn't place sleep. And then decreases turn meter of all enemies by 15%. In the High Elves, even for faction wars, I have a much better team already built. So I really do not need her. So Interceptor is just going to kind of be food. Harrier, again, 3-star food for me. Attacks one enemy, has a 15% chance of placing an extra hit. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased debuff for 2 turns. Attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit. And then his passive will ignore 50% of the target's defense when this champion inflicts a critical hit. Only available if Hospitaller is on the same team. Yeah, he's just food for me at this point. Sacred Order, I got a better team. I don't really need him for anything. I have other people to do exactly what he does. Steadfast Marshal, again, is probably just going to be food for me. My Banner Lord's team is okay. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn if the target's max HP is lower than this champion's. places a 60% increased debuff on this champion for 2 turns and grants an extra turn. And then places Veil buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. If this move gave it to everybody, I would probably use him more often, but it doesn't, so he'll probably just be 3-star food for me. So yeah, there it is, my YouTube family. There was my Void Shard pulls. I'm sorry I'm never filming on BlueStacks again when raid. I don't know why it did that. Extremely pissed me off because my reaction when that legendary popped was unbelievable. And then the disappointment was there. I mean, I'm happy. Don't get me wrong. Legendary. 6 Void Shards in a dream, right? So there it is. So if you're just finding me for the first time, I cover Dragon Champions and Raid Shadow Legends at least once a week, sometimes 2 for Raid Shadow Legends as I start to build my account. I can start doing more videos on it. So go ahead, click that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're just finding me for the first time. For all my XMG family members out there, you know I love you. See you in the next one. I'm out.